Major moves. We going all in, like we got nothing to lose. We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves.
Welcome back to my channel. I want to thank you guys for actively deciding to spend time with me. I'm just a guy in a Spider-Man mask, a cool one I might add. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just providing information and content already on the internet, and I just read it and present it to you guys in a way that may reach you or may not reach you. Whatever the reason is you found my page, I'm grateful you're here, and thank you for spending time with me. Let's get into this.
Bro, you know what cracks me up? You know what cracks me up is when you stumble around on the vocabulary on these fundamentals and these PDFs. I do the same thing, and I'm like, bro, sometimes some of these words that I'm reading, I'm like, I have no idea how I pulled that one off, you know?
I hope you keep this in the final version, man, so people can see this is all real stuff.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, bro, these 20 character words are freaking not easy to say, and they're mind-boggling, especially if you don't know the definition of them. But go ahead, continue, bro.
Yeah.
Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video breakdown. I have a very interesting guest with me here today, Mr. Man. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We have a lot to discuss and talk about. Real fast before I let Mr. Man say what's up to you all, I just want to first start by saying this is an in-depth research video. We're going to be discussing topics surrounding XDC, HBAR, XRP, trade finance, digital identities, agri-food industries, illiquid assets. I mean, literally massive amounts of information for you all today. We're going to be jumping down the Hyperledger Foundation rabbit hole, the Interledger protocol. So if you all enjoy deep research video breakdowns like this, smash that thumbs up button. I'm letting you all know ahead of the time that this is going to be a long, in-depth video breakdown, jam-packed with fundamentals, documents, tweets, all kinds of stuff for you all to take it upon yourselves after you watch this video breakdown and go research as a individual investing in this market space, right? As always, this is not financial advice. Nothing that me and Mr. Man are constituting here is telling you guys to go out and buy these assets. All right, make sure that you're doing your own research. Mr. Man, what's going on, brother? How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, my man. Thanks for having me today. I appreciate the opportunity to share this platform with you. What is up, everybody? I am Mr. Man. I appreciate you guys coming again with us here and just taking some time to indulge in what we have to say here. By all means, take it. Let's jump into this.
For sure, man. So I'm going to actually start this by piggybacking off of some of the tweets that you've recently put out. If anybody doesn't follow Mr. Man on the YouTube space and enjoys in-depth research, Twitter as well, make sure you guys go give him a follow, not only on the Twitter space, but also on YouTube. Very informative platform, you know, no gimmicks, no bullish moon boy hype or anything like that. Just sound, solid, down-to-earth research. Which hopefully, you know, you all can dive down rabbit holes yourselves, right? Don't just read Mr. Man's tweets or my tweets or watch our YouTube platforms and then just go off of what we say. Open documents, start to create rabbit holes yourself and read through some of these fundamentals in PDF so that way you can enlighten your own brain on what's going on behind the scenes and not the retail hype that's driving this market right now. So with that being said, I want to start with this tweet that you just put out today. This was a banger. Now, who is this individual right here that you?
This is an individual from Chainlink.
Yeah, Chainlink. So Chainlink, and he goes on to talk about how early we are, right? And this tweet that Mr. Man put out says, now, this is the time to be in the space. There has been an acceleration phase, and it's not linear, it's exponential. This gentleman here is saying you don't want to get in when it's obvious to everyone. We are early. Good things come to those who have patience and the willingness to learn.
So look, I've seen these disruptions. One of the things that's also important to note is that they're not linear. They're exponential, which means there's an acceleration phase, and this is where you want to get in. You don't want to get in when it's obvious to everybody, because then it's a bit late. So if you're lucky to be here, to be in the space, to see what's happening, this is the right time to get in.
Moving on to my whole spiel, I'm going to be talking about trade finance. We're going to be going over digital identities and the tokenization of illiquid assets. Now, Mr. Man just tweeted out recently to you all a thread about distributed ledger technologies and trade finance global, the World Trade Organization. Now, I think that this is all very interesting, okay? And I've tweeted some things out surrounding this in the past, okay? Some recent video breakdowns on the CyprX platform as well. I've covered these topics. He also goes into talk about HBAR and the Hyperledger Foundation. Now, I want to take your attention over to two recent fundamentals surrounding XDC. We know that XDC is heavily involved with trade finance. Now, this is a recent article from April 13th, 2023, and I want you all to pay attention to key vocabulary here. It goes on to talk about much needed liquidity, okay? This plays a very important role in the future of trade finance, okay, in the global trade financial ecosystem. It says, recognizing XinFin's XDC network's potential in trade finance. This came out April 13th, 2023. Some key highlights. It says, Sunil, I hope that I'm not butchering this gentleman's name, the COO at XinFin XDC Network predicts a significant rise in blockchain's adoption in trade finance due to the legal acceptance of digital trade documents, such as electronic trade documents, or the bill that was introduced in the UK Parliament. Senapati expresses this sentiment in the interview at the Citigroup's 10th Digital Money Symposium 2023. We're going to play some massive numbers for you guys from a PDF that came out from Citigroup here in just 1 second, arguing that around 80% of world trade is based on English law. He forecasted that the percentage of the global trade flows involving digitized processes and blockchain technology will reach 2 digits by 2025. That's very soon, right? He added, by 2030 and beyond, we will likely see greater adoption with interoperability taking the digitized flows to higher percentages. Wider adoption will require simple applications, low or no cost to use the basic functionalities, and this is important right here, it says, and new liquidity providers to support the trades. That's a massive one, so I highlighted that in red. In 2021, the XDC network created by XinFin was selected as the first blockchain company to join the Global Trade Finance Distribution, or the TFD initiative, a consortium of trade originators or credit issuers and institutional funders on a mission to boost automation and transparency in trade asset and risk distribution. Now, obviously, of course, people have covered this in the past, but it's good to brush up on. This is where it gets interesting. In a welcoming address, the chairman of the FinTech Committee at the International Trade and Forfeiting Association, that is Andre Casterman, by the way, said the XDC network would enable them to bridge the $19 trillion trade finance asset class with any type of funder through tokenization and digital assets. Now, remember, I highlighted for you all a new liquidity provider to support the trades. Let's move on to another recent fundamental that just came out. We all know that the MiCA bill was just passed by the EU Parliament, right, or just approved. This came out on the 19th of April, 2023, this article from xdc.org, okay? And it goes on to say, Vantage Point, a blueprint for digital negotiable instruments in light of the MiCA bill. And it says right here, in a Medium article dated April 4th, 2023, so this is all updated, the XDC Foundation reviewed the Trade Finance Distribution Initiative's TFDI blueprint for trade distribution. 2 debates held by industry leaders in 2019 and early 2023 focus on the need for expanded trade distribution channels that will allow, look at this, that will allow institutional and retail investors to participate in the low-risk trade finance asset class. What? Okay, hold on. Like, now we're heating up, right? And remember, whole time, keep in mind, I highlighted this new liquidity provider is needed to support the trades, right?
All right.
Okay. Look at how this finishes right here. Global trade in general will benefit from a broader secondary market and will inject much needed liquidity into the trade finance sector, right?
Yes, I see where you're going with this.
So, dude, it's massive. It's insane. So I tweeted out to you guys info on how XDC and the XDC network can be a liquidity provider for global trade flows involving digitized processes, because we know new liquidity providers are needed to support the trades, right? So XDC, first, XDC provides liquidity in global trade flows by serving as a medium of exchange for transactions on the XDC network. We'll move on. You guys can go follow me on Twitter if you want to read these entire paragraphs. Second, the XDC network can also facilitate the creation of smart contracts that can automate various processes involved in global trade, such as verifying the authenticity of goods, monitoring shipping, and automatically releasing payments upon delivery.
Mm-hmm.
The XDC network is open to developers, allowing them to create decentralized applications or dApps that can leverage the XDC cryptocurrency and network to provide additional liquidity and functionality, right? Now, what I think is very interesting is right here it says, global trade flows involving digitized processes, XDC, mentioned. Again, this is a recent updated article. And back in this article, it goes on to talk about how Senapati, this individual from XDC, was at an interview with Citigroup's 10th Digital Money Symposium in 2023. Would you guys know this PDF that came out from Citi? Okay, it's right here. We scroll up. It mentions money, tokens, and games, blockchain's next billion users and $1 trillion in value from Citi right here, right? Well, if we come down here, who was a participant in this PDF? You guys can see right here, Sunil Senapati, Chief Operating Officer of Zenfin, right? Massive connections right here. And right here, I believe this is page 4 or 5 of this PDF. It says, almost anything of value can be tokenized, and tokenization of financial and real-world assets could be the killer use case blockchain needs to drive a breakthrough. We forecast $4 trillion to $5 trillion of tokenized assets, digital securities, and $1 trillion of distributed ledger technology-based trade finance volumes by 2030. That is massive. Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. Right? All right, so moving on. This was very interesting. Killer use cases. Just to confirm, Citi says $1 trillion in assets could be tokenized by 2030. We went over this PDF from Citi in correlation with Zenfin being a part of this. Very interesting to say the least. Now, my last little spiel on XDC, I tweeted this out to you guys. I believe this is at the beginning of April. We see Zenfin for global trade finance, okay? And if we come over here in correlation with what Mr. Mann posted, scrolling up here, Trade Finance Global, we can see here Trade Finance Global, Digital Ecosystems and Trade Finance, right? This is a PDF, and it goes on to say right here, Exhibit 1, global trade flows are expected to grow from 2018 to 2027, which is coming up very close. We're in 2023 right now, but that's only 4 years away.
Mm-hmm.
Reaching US $25 trillion. I mean, these are jaw-dropping numbers. At the end of the day, speculative assets environment that we're operating in right now. But do you guys see how these major organizations are calling out these numbers? I don't think that you should not pay attention, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
At least do your own personal research, which is what me and Mr. Mann are attempting to show you guys today. And this is just honestly barely scratching how deep the rabbit hole really truly goes. So now we're going to migrate into the second part of Mr. Mann's tweet, where I believe somebody asked him about Hyperledger, if I'm not mistaken. Where's it at? Yeah, we see here Hyperledger is IBM. This guy right here, XRP South Florida, says it's Hyperledger HBAR. Hyperledger is IBM that incorporates XLM, XRP, Hedera, and many more. Check out the short video I included, blah, 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 blah. That's from Mr. Mann, right? So he goes on to talk about Hyperledger. So Hyperledger, we already know, major connections, DTCC, Accenture, IBM, okay? We got our favorite utility-driven crypto asset market participants on this members list, Ripple, right? We see Stellar down here at the bottom. We got HBAR, we got Casper, okay? We got R3, right? Major and massive connections. I mean, Visa's here, right? NTT Data, okay? This is not something to ignore. Now, this is something that I posted to you guys. DTCC coming in hot with gems. Members of Hyperledger include Casper Network, Hedera, Ripple, Stellar, right? IBM, Visa. Pay attention. Technology comes first. Use case comes second. Stamp that. Remember that I just said that. Pay attention. Technology comes first. Use case comes second, right?
But today this order is often reversed. Innovation or innovative technologies come first and use cases come later.
This is Rob Platnick of the DTCC, and he goes on to mention how the Hyperledger Foundation is at the forefront of every single global discussion surrounding distributed ledger and blockchain technology.
State of the industry, there's probably, Daniela listed a set of industries, and in our involvement with Hyperledger and in my role as chair for the previous 3 years of the board, I don't know that there's any industry I've encountered, whether it's certainly financial services, healthcare, music, energy, airline parts. There's literally no business that I've encountered that hasn't had some discussion or there's not innovation from fintechs and the core business leaders in that particular industry using blockchain and distributed ledger technology. And Hyperledger is always among the top contenders in that conversation.
Again, Rob Palatnik of the DTCC mentioning, again, Hyperledger at the forefront of everybody's discussion. And I believe that this symposium right here, this Hyperledger forum, was at the end of 2022 last year. So like September, October timeframe. So it's pretty recent, okay? Now, moving on down the Hedera spiel, we know that Hedera, not only in the global financial system, right, with banking sector, is HBAR, in my personal opinion, going to play an important role with interoperability and things of that nature, CBDCs and whatnot, offline payments, things of that nature. But things that people aren't really paying attention to outside of the financial sector, well, it's all technically the financial sector, but what I want people to pay attention to specifically in this video breakdown is digital identities and the tokenization of illiquid assets, okay? Which is also going to play a major role in the future evolution of this new digital transformation. So here I posted this to you guys on April 17th, just the other day. The writing is on the wall for HBAR. Okay, check this out. HBAR or Hedera provides the capability to create digital identities for authentication and verification in financial transactions. Look at these screenshots right here. This is nuts, okay? This is a fundamental straight directly from the World Economic Forum. Okay, and it mentions how we create an international framework for privacy preserving digital identity. Came out March 30th, 2023. So just last month. Okay. And it says right here, state-of-the-art decentralized digital ID technology is evolving rapidly. While several core technologies have been proven right here, several core technologies have been proven and standardized by who else? W3C. The standards body that governs core web technologies. Some notable recent developments suggest the role of blockchain and digital ID will only grow over time. Here's that fundamental right here, just so that way you guys can actually physically see it. World Economic Forum, March 30th, 2023. Now, who was involved in this? We see right here, chair and president at Hedera, right? Interesting. If we come down here, this is where it mentions while several core technologies, right, that's a key important word right there, have been proven. Well, let's go back to the tweet that I put out to you guys. Look at this. This is straight from the Hedera.com website, okay? Credentials and community group. Hedera Hashgraph, an enterprise-grade distributed ledger platform, has joined who other than the W3C as a member organization and has registered a DID method to the W3C Credentials Communities Group, the centralized identifier registry. W3C is an international community where member organizations, W3 staff, and the public work together to develop web standards with an overall mission of leading the web to its full potential, right? Do you guys see how massive that is? Okay. And again, they say core technologies have been proven. And Hedera is working with the W3C, right? Very interesting. Moving on, another spiel about Hedera. I said to you guys in a tweet, HBAR Research, the best part about Hedera is that it is a versatile distributed ledger technology. Just like I mentioned to you guys, it's not just the financial system with CBDC, offline payments, right? Digital identities, but now we're going to get into the agri-food business, the agri-food industry, right? Farmland, okay? Or the tokenization of illiquid assets, posting out massive trillion-dollar numbers for the future projection of this space. Okay, so it says that has the potential to revolutionize a wide range of industries. Hedera is interconnected with some of the biggest names in supply chain management and finance. Combined, these two industries alone offer trillions of dollars in opportunities for future growth. Hedera is involved deeply with both. Tokenization of illiquid assets set to be $16 trillion by 2030. Agri-food assets specifically can both be illiquid and liquid, depending on the specific asset and market condition. For example, specifically mentioning and talking about farmland, considered a relatively illiquid asset, right? Well, check this out. This is from the HBAR Foundation. This is a recent article, March 30th, 2023. And it says, of MasterCard provenance migrates to Hedera for real-world asset tokenization. Today, we are excited to announce the Fresh Supply Co., the largest user of MasterCard provenance and a partner of Commonwealth Bank, has migrated from the private MasterCard blockchain to the public Hedera network. by tokenizing assets, events through the agri-food supply chain at scale. FSCO is actively digitizing food production. I mean, these words are literally science fiction. Digitizing food production, huh? What? And trade. And guess what? Hedera Hashgraph is at the forefront of this, okay? So again, that came out March 30th. Now it says right here, Eptos is an Australia debit card system processing over 2 billion debit card transactions in 2020 worth an average of more than 300 million each day.
Holy hell.
Eptos, yeah, is wholly owned by its 19 members. And who's one of those members? Commonwealth Bank of Australia, right? Interesting how this web is starting to be created, because who just partnered with Hedera Hashgraph, right? Commonwealth Bank, Fresh Supply Co., right? Tokenizing assets, agri-food. You guys get it? You're starting to see the gist? Now check this out. Australia's national debt operator, Eptos, joins the Hedera governing council. Like, you can't make this stuff up. You get me? Right? Moving on, we also see here, this is from Cointelegraph. Okay, it goes on to mention the tokenization of illiquid assets to reach 16 trillion by 2030. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that Hedera is going to take over that entire market cap, but I mean, a $500 billion market cap for Hedera, what's that put the price of HBAR at? You know, like, come on now. Okay, give me a little piece of the pie, right? Here is that fundamental document that goes on to mention a $16 trillion market cap relevance of on-chain asset tokenization in a crypto winter. Now, let me stop my spiel and let's start the transition over to allow Mr. Mann to blow your guys' mind with some of the research and documentation that he's found. Some of the research that he's going to talk about today, we're going to discuss this unified ledger being mentioned by multiple key participants and panel speakers from the BIS. Okay, I believe that this is an individual from the Monetary Authority of Singapore. Ravi Menon. And he goes on to mention that the BIS has been working on building a unified ledger.
With respect to cyber, technology, risk, and so on. Now, the secondary monetary system that I'm speaking about, the new one, where we built a new set of rails, and I think the BIS has spoken about a unified global platform or infrastructure.
Right? Now, what I find interesting is I posted this out to you guys just the other day. The XRP ledger specifically provides a unified code base and an open standard for payments and value transfer, making it a powerful tool for enabling fast, low-cost, interoperable cross-border payments. What are the consortia of the Federal Reserve's top 30 stakeholders doing? Again, that's an interesting question, right? What are they doing? The top 30 stakeholders of the Federal Reserve. Well, they're focusing exclusively on a unified code base and open standard for payments, right? And this gentleman right here from the Monetary Authority of Singapore is telling you guys that they are doing this. They're confirming that it's not a hidden gem. However, if you go watch this YouTube video, it literally has, like, I don't know, probably less than 1,000 views, which is insane. Okay. Now, I found this PDF from the Federal Reserve website. And on this PDF, it goes on to mention the 30 key stakeholders. And it says, as a preliminary step to understanding the implications of distributed ledger technology developments and payments, clearing and settlement, a team of Federal Reserve staff held discussions with a broad range of parties that are interested in, participate in, or otherwise contribute to the evolution of distributed ledger technology. The team conducted interviews and conversations with approximately 30 key stakeholders. And what did they discuss? Moving on, it says right here, consortia are helping industry participants utilize the cost and risk associated with developing distributed ledger technology. And it says right here, by the need to generate commercial solutions, while others are focused, talking about the 30 key stakeholders, exclusively on developing a unified code base and open standard. It's literally identical vocabulary to the XRP ledger. And I'm not saying that there's any correlation, but don't you just find it interesting, right? And now, just to confirm who those 30 stakeholders are, this is very interesting. Some of those stakeholders, I'll mind you, pay attention. We see the International Monetary Fund, which we know Ripple is part of the high-level advisory board of, right? The Bank for International Settlements. That's the one that we're going to focus on today. We see the World Bank, who's also mentioned XRP and XLM as stablecoins and in many of their other documents. And then we also see the G7 and the G20, whom I've proved to you all in past video breakdowns in some way, shape, or form is directly or indirectly connected to each of these G7 and G20 countries, okay? So I just find that interesting. Now, talking and discussing moving forward with key vocabulary in connection with the unified ledger. before I pass it over to Mr. Mann. This is a BIS.org fundamental. If we scroll up to the top, you guys can see this is the BIS.org website. This came out 22nd of February, 2023, just to confirm this talk of a unified ledger. It says innovation in the future of the monetary system. Okay, and this is from Augustin Carstens, the general manager of the Bank of International Settlements. And he goes on to say, a unified programmable ledger and a public, I highlighted these specifically in red so you all pay attention. A unified programmable ledger and a public-private partnership. I'm not going to bore you with the rest of the spiel. And it says down here, a unified ledger is a digital infrastructure. It talks about what it is. And it says, like smartphone platforms, a unified ledger allows various components to work seamlessly together, right? And then down here, it also says, such a ledger allows for the users of smart contracts and composability. With this key vocabulary and migrating over to Mr. Mann's spiel today, okay, remember, we see public-private partnership, key vocabulary, allows various components to work seamlessly together. Smart contracts and composability, right? This just cannot be correlated to XRP or Interledger Foundation or anything, right? Ripple, nothing. Wrong. It always is. And it's just interesting how it always is, right? It says right here, the Interledger protocol suite can be used among any network participants, public or private. Literally the same exact vocab. So there's that right there, public or private partnership, right? Then here, moving on, it says right here, Interledger protocol enables seamless exchange of value across payment networks. Well, what did the Bank of International Settlements say? Allows various components to work seamlessly together, right? Same vocab. Now, tying this back into the W3, I find this interesting. This is from the w3.org, and it says, from my perspective, coming from David Ezel, I don't know who this individual is, an individual from National Association for Convenience and Petroleum Retailing. He says, the importance of blockchain in support of payments value exchange is pretty obvious. What is not obvious is how the technology can be made more general and accessible to people. As one of its selected activities, the IG has supported the formation of the Interledger protocol, which is discussing technology that is intended to support a set of ledgers, many or all of those being blockchain ledgers, in order, this is where it gets interesting, in order to enable value exchanges in a composable way. Literally, word for word, public-private partnership, seamless together, smart contracts and composability. Like, come on now, you cannot make this up, all in correlation with the Interledger protocol. Now, what I find interesting is if we come over here, we already know that the World Economic Forum and Ripple are partners. Well, what I think is interesting is just to connect this World Economic Forum defining interoperability, right? We come down here and we know, okay, scrolling down here, it says unified, that's the key vocabulary. A standard is needed for a unified digital identity protocol for distributed ledger technology to communicate with off-chain systems. And it mentions right here the World Wide Web Consortium, or the W3C. And the W3C mentioned, again, in order to enable value exchanges in a composable way, right? What is this referring to? The Interledger protocol. So I just find that interesting. I'll now stop my spiel, pass it over to Mr. Mann. Mr. Mann, take it away, my friend.
Beautiful. Man, you were dropping some gems there. Like, you had me behind the scenes rubbing my hands. I was excited for everything you had to say. A lot of what you had to say was brand new to me. But let's just continue this journey here down this rabbit hole about this unified ledger that you heard Cypress from CyprX talking about here. So right here, you can check this out here. This is the digital future from the internet to the Interledger. And this is back from 2021. Who put this out? This is put out by MIT. Everybody who's in this space now should have a general idea of who MIT is. MIT is running the show in the backgrounds here. They're the ones with the think tanks, and they're the ones orchestrating everything. So let's just jump right into what they have to say here. There we go. So today, the revolution is no longer proceeding application by application and nation by nation. Instead, we are seeing a convergence from separate digital systems for each application and each nation to a unified, all-purpose digital ledger that handle finance, commerce, capital, and tax transactions across the globe. These new ledgers are also a natural home for the extension of central bank digital currencies and are being promoted by trade countries, hence that, notice the word there, trade countries, such as Singapore, Switzerland, and China as a safer and cheaper way to conduct business. Singapore is like all up in there. They've been making some waves and splashes for me here. So let's just continue here as we
But
talk about trade.
that document is literally just MIT telling you that this transformation is happening. Like, boom, drops mic.
Absolutely. I can walk away at this time. We can shut this off and just end of story. But I want to show you guys this here. This here is, come back to the top here. This here, that document there that you saw CyprX showing you on my page there on Twitter. This is blockchain and DLT and trade. Where do we stand? Let's find out where we stand. This is the Trade Finance Global, and this is World Trade Organization. You got some big names in this document here. The overview right here, just to give you guys a high level look at what we're talking about here. Distributed ledger technology, or DLT, in trade is usually used for two primary purposes. One, track and trace, to enhance transparency on how goods are being processed, and two, the digitization of trade processes. Track and trace itself has three main purposes. First, it can be used to increase transparency for customers and build trust. This is done by providing the customers with insight into DLT verified records of the steps that a particular product took to reach their hand. So in a sense, from birth or inception to the entire trail to it finally reaches you in your hand, what that entire chain looked like. Now you can use your phone, scan that QR code, and you can see the entire tracking. So moving on here. Just want to break this down for you guys here. This is Hyperledger here. You heard CyprX talking about this earlier here. Digital assets. This is some of the partnerships here. So as I go through here to give you guys a quick run through of Hyperledger here. Private network via Hyperledger. Hyperledger Fabric is IBM's private permission DLT solution and is open source underneath Hyperledger Foundation, a Linux Foundation DLT extension. The Stellar Development Foundation joined Hyperledger Foundation as an associate member. Awesome. So now that we know and understand that, this is where I want to go here. This is Project Planet. This is all about global trade networking here, okay? This is making me smile underneath this mask. I'm sure you guys can hear the smile even though you can't see it. So let's do this. Integration and interoperability, a proprietary blockchain system for seamless global trade workflows. I'm about to blow your guys' mind here, okay? So this link right there, you can see it on the page right here. I'm gonna pull that up quickly for you guys. Here we go. This is what it's about. This is Planet, Project Planet. What it's about. Planet addresses the challenges of assessing the impact of emerging global trade corridors on the TEN-T network and ensuring effective integration of the European to the global network by focusing on two key R&D pillars. R&D is research and development pillars. One, geoeconomics approach, modeling the specific and dynamics of new trade routes and their impacts on logistics infrastructure and operations with specific reference to TEN-T. And two, an EU. Notice how it's always in the East that it starts. An EU global network enablement through disruptive concepts and technologies, or IoT, blockchain, and PI, which is PI is physical internet, 5G, 3D printing, autonomous vehicles, automation, Hyperloop, which can shape its future and address its shortcomings, aligned to the DTLF concept of a federated network of T&L platform. Oh man, that's beautiful. So that brings us back to, I'm jumping ahead of myself, back to this first page here, the white paper for the Project Planet. And we're going to go down here. And this is going to spell it out for all of us here. I love table of contents because it shows you everything you need to see. So as we go down to the Project Planet, here we go. Pull this right up there. Right here, we see right in front of our face, we see Sophie Interledger component. We see Hyperledger Cactus, now known as Hyperledger Cacti. The Interledger protocol, we have Cosmos, we have Polkadot, and we have Baseline, which is an ETH protocol. All of those combined make a seamless, unified ledger for this project here. The dashboard intrigues me. I want to see what that looks like still. So now that we know who the different blockchains are within this one project to make a unified ledger, let's go down the hole to learn a bit about them. Hyperledger Cactus. Cactus is a blockchain integration tool designed to allow users to securely integrate different blockchains. Note the Hyperledger Cactus has now been renamed to Hyperledger Cacti, as I was telling you. So moving on here, this is just to show you, this is from Project Planet again, just to show you that they're still active in 2023, decentralized management of logistic documentation for 2023. Planet Project has released its third white paper. In the context of Brexit and the need to boost the efficiency and effectiveness of the Eurasian rail, the digitization of supply chains has become even more important, as it can help companies mitigate the challenges posed by these two issues. The two issues have been at the center stage of Living Lab 2, synchromodal dynamic management of TENT-T. Well, that's a tough word to say. Intercontinental flows promoting rail transportation within the Planet Project. So the rail transportation is what we're talking now within Planet Project. Who are these rail systems, right? Who are they? Here we go. This is Planet Project here, Project Planet, and this is the rail systems within their clutches here. So we got, you see the names down the right-hand side here, Adri Combi, so that's out in Slovenia. We got Italy, we got Estonia, we got Czech Republic, we got Germany, Luxembourg, Spain, Belgium, Austria, France, Germany, Hungary, Austria. Like this is huge. This is every rail system out in the east there within this project here. All right, and we know who they're using. They're using Hyperledger Cacti, they're using Interledger Sophie, Cosmos, Dot, and Baseline through ETH. Awesome. So now that we know that, let's check out Interledger itself. Interledger approaches. And what I want to get down to is this down here. All right. The aforementioned trade-offs make it clear that the one chain rules them all paradigm is far from true, as we just went through. It's not going to be just one chain to rule them all. If you're thinking that, take that thought from your head, pull it, throw it somewhere else. Don't waste your time with that nonsense, okay? Instead, a wide spectrum of diverse blockchains are expected to continue operating in parallel, as we had just seen. While we're very likely to continue operating in we're very likely to witness the introduction of novel blockchains with currently unimaginable features, finding ways to securely and efficiently interconnect each or such diverse blockchains become a paramount importance of guaranteeing a universal, unified, notice my words there, let me read that again, becoming a paramount importance for guaranteeing a universal, unified, and non-segregated realm for distributed ledgers. All right, that's what this is. That's what this liquidity is in terms of Interledger itself and what Interledger's role is in this. So we learned about Interledger. We figured out Cosmos is part of this trade ecosystem for rails there in Project Planet. So what is Cosmos Network, or Atom? The internet of blockchains. Cosmos aims to create an internet of blockchains where any blockchain is able to communicate, share data, and transact with any other. So in brief, at the moment, a blockchain tends to act as its own universe with almost no way to communicate with the outside world of its own network without a third-party help. As a result, bickering, tribalism, and maximalism, sounds like Twitter, among the supporters of the various different blockchains have become the norm. But can there be one blockchain to unite them all? So we learned from the Interledger PDF that the paradigm of one blockchain to rule them all, fallacies. So here we are in Atom, and they're saying the same things. But can there be one blockchain to unite them all? Take a trip as we explore Cosmos, the internet of blockchains. What is the Cosmos Network? Cosmos' aim is simple: to enable any blockchain to communicate, share data, and transact with any other by allowing many different blockchains to interoperate. There is less of a need for these networks to ruthlessly compete to be the one blockchain to rule them all. Instead, many different blockchains can coexist with their own specialized use case and advantages. Awesome. All right, so we found out that Polkadot is also part of this. Here, right there. There's Polkadot. We saw Cosmos. Now we're back onto Dot. Let's do this. What's Dot? Parachains as a digital nation state. Within their own communities, rules, economies, governance, treasuries, and relationships with external chains, parachains are akin to decentralized digital nations. Polkadot allows them to come together, communicate, and share security guarantees for the betterment of the entire ecosystem. The entire ecosystem from each individual chain, okay? A free alliance of sovereign chains. So parachains connect to Polkadot by leasing an open slot on the relay chain via auction, which involves locking up a bond of DOT for the duration of that lease. So you're like leasing that little land, that little chain to do what you needed to do for that moment there. DOT holders can help their favorite parachains win an auction, potentially earning a reward in return by contributing to a crowd loan and temporarily locking their own DOT for the parachain's bond. Awesome. So now I have this last PDF here for you guys. So here, can blockchain revolutionize international trade? I hope by now, after all these fundamentals that myself and CyprX have brought you guys through, you can see where this is going. But let's read this here. Blockchain's potential trade-related applications are numerous and could significantly transform international trade. They say it right in their document here. But the technology is not a solution to everything yet. Right? I added that part there. From finance, including trade finance, to customs and certification processes, transportation and logistics, we went over that, insurance, distribution, intellectual property, and government procurement. Possible application of blockchain encompass a diverse set of areas related to WTO, the World Trade Organization. Just to show you guys quickly, that was this document that we had gone over right in the beginning. There we go. That was this document there that you saw on my Twitter page. While the technology opens interesting opportunities to enhance the efficiency of a number of processes and cut costs in these areas, it is not a panacea. Carefully weighing the cost and benefits is essential. Blockchain could open new opportunities to enhance the efficiency of a process in a number of areas related to WTO work. Blockchain could help trade move closer to become paperless. Oh, that was beautiful. I hope you guys enjoyed all that.
It feels good to get it all off your chest, huh?
It does, man. It's like it just sits in my head all day, and the more you learn, the more you're just like, I gotta tell somebody. I gotta tell somebody.
Yeah, but you know what? Come to find out, bro, like we were talking offline, man, it's just so crazy how people just don't pay attention to researchers like myself and yourself, and they'd rather go watch a bullish moon boy give price predictions when clearly they've been wrong the majority of the time. It's crazy. So thanks, man, for that breakdown. I do appreciate it. Unified Ledger, everybody, give them a round of applause. Yeah, I mean, like, you're dropping mic left and right, bro. Check it out, man. At the end of the day, all we can do as individuals in this market space and as influencers is hopefully present this documentation and this type of research to people, so that way they can see that it's not just about meme coin investing and going out there and buying whatever's hype on Twitter right now.
Yeah.
You know, I also truly think and believe that this tribalism, specifically, and I'll focus in on the XRP community, that has a lot of people misled to believe that there was going to be some overnight euphoria bull run to happen and take place that clearly has not come into fruition yet, is really hopefully starting to drive people to do more in-depth research for the long-term vision in this market.
That's the thing. Yeah,
you know, that I really truly feel like everybody needs to start having. But because when we're talking about, you know, the evolution of the global financial system, anybody with a brain understands that that will take time. And when you come into this market space and you have the mindset of a longer term vision, right, it allows you to detach yourself from the emotional battles that someone who isn't emotionally stable has. And I think that that plays an important role in your survival of this market long term, especially with the price fluctuations in these crypto assets that we're going to see in the short term. I'm not discrediting a bull run, and I'm not saying any specific cryptocurrency project, neither is Mr. Man, saying that it's the chosen one. But based off the research that we've done and putting and piecing together some of these documents and fundamentals, it's kind of clear. You know, they're not sitting here talking about Dogecoin and their fundamentals. No, what are they talking about? Interledger Protocol, Hyperledger Foundation. I mean, the freaking DTCC, Rob Platnick, right? Literally tells you that the Hyperledger Foundation is at the forefront of every single discussion surrounding distributed ledger technology and trade finance. That is a massive statement right there. I mean, I don't know what else to say, you know? So blessings to you guys. We'll wrap this up here. This is a long video breakdown. If you stuck around, then, you know, you actually care about value and research. We're not sitting here telling you guys to go out and invest in these projects. Just simply, hopefully, providing you this information will lead you to be interested, at least in doing your own personal research. You don't have to be dedicated individuals like us who actually make content on this, but in your free time on the weekends, instead of watching Netflix or whatever the heck else you do, just open up a document. And if you're going to park money and capital into this crypto ecosystem, then research what you're investing in. Okay. It'd be the same thing as if you were a stock investor. Hopefully you would do research on the companies you're investing in, right? So with that being said, blessings to you guys. Mr. Man, you got anything to say to the audience? I appreciate you for showing up, man. I really do.
Man, this has been a blessing. I'm grateful to have this opportunity to do another video with you again. I can guarantee you this won't be the last one.
Yeah, 100%. I think we should do an interview soon. Like, we should just do a general conversation about distributed ledger technology from our own perspective. Like, no documents, just me and you talking and chatting, and maybe even have a couple of other people in the conversation as well. I know the Crypto Smith on Twitter, talking about having a discussion with me. So maybe we can invite him, a couple of other key researchers. Yeah, we'll see what we can combat later on in the future, brother. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I like that concept there. But you guys, thank you guys for joining us on this journey here as we took another deep dive down the hole. I'll catch you guys on the next one.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you all go follow Mr. Man and myself on Twitter, as well as both of our YouTube platforms. Make sure that you all are subscribed and you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a beat on our next video breakdown. As always, be cognizant, be aware, and we will see you all in the next video.
Making major moves. We going all in. Like we got nothing to lose. We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves.